Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. And remember, we're here live in the Bitcoin.com studio, your gateway to democratized finance. That is the Bitcoin.com studio. There are men still winning female championships all across the country. President Trump signed an executive order saying no men in female sports, but states are actively defying it. They say, what good is the president? Who cares if you want a popular vote? Who cares if 90% of the country doesn't want this? It's irrelevant to them. Well, the fight is on in California, of course, where Gavin Newsom told me that he had a problem with this. Was Gavin Newsom lying, or is he too much of a coward to do anything about it? Well, joining us now is Sophia Lorey, Outreach Director for California Family and host of a This Is a Woman podcast. Sophia, welcome to the program. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on, Charlie.
So, Sophia, tell us the state of affairs, I should say, in California and a little bit nationally. Are men still winning competitions, awards, and medals over female athletes?
Unfortunately, they are, especially in California. You know, Trump put out this great executive order, and just days later, CIF, who's the governing body of high school sports in the state of California, said, nope, we're not going to follow it. We're going to continue to allow boys to compete in girls' sports, to be in their locker rooms, and we're seeing that happen this weekend. We're going to watch a male who is right now first in 3 different track events compete against girls and beat out the girls for the position of finals.
So tell us about A.B. Hernandez. So A.B. Hernandez, I actually brought up to Gavin Newsom. Let's start with this, actually. Let's play cut 266. This was my conversation with Gavin Newsom. Play cut 266. So like you right now should come out and be like, you know what? The young man who's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports, right. that shouldn't happen. You as the governor should step out say no.
No, and I appreciate
but like, would you do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. So that's easy to call out, the unfairness of that. There's also a humility and a grace, that these poor people are more likely to commit suicide, have anxiety and depression. And the way that people talk down to vulnerable communities is an issue that I have a hard time with as well. So both things I can hold in my hand. How can we address this issue with the kind of decency that I think, is inherent in you, but not always expressed?
So A.B. Hernandez, the person in question, is in first place. That's a biological man in 3 different track and field events, and he's competing in the women's category in preliminaries. Tell us more.
Yeah, so this Saturday at Yorba Linda High School, we have the CIF preliminaries, and he right now is in first for high jump, long jump, and triple jump. And so these girls are going to have to be competing against them. And let's be real, he's going to beat them. He has these biological advantages. I've been able to talk to some of their girls and some of the families that are competing this weekend, and they know it's unfair. And the fact that they have to go into preliminaries and not just be ready to compete, not just make sure they got enough sleep, make sure they ate the right things, make sure they trained hard enough for the preliminaries, but they now have to focus on the fact that there is a boy competing against them, that no matter how hard they train, that he is going to outperform them because of these biological advantages. And we've worked real hard in California to push back on this. We had actually 2 Save Girls sports bills this year. I testified in support of one of them. It was Assembly Bill 89 by Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez. And I was actually able to quote that clip of Governor Newsom saying it's deeply unfair that boys are in girls sports. And guess what? He actually doesn't care about this issue, because when that bill had a hearing, where was he? He was nowhere to be found. And when his office was asked for a comment on the Save Girls sports bills, he said his office doesn't make comments about current bills, which is a complete lie.
Yeah, and so, again, we can go through the list that your wonderful organization has composed. I don't know if I'm allowed to name these names off because they might be minors, so I'll instead just name the school, if that's okay. There's someone at Sonoma Academy who's a man who is on pace to win a cross-country and track and field championship. Half Moon Bay High School, volleyball. Waldorf High School, volleyball, basketball, and soccer. A.B. Hernandez, we talked about. Martin Luther King High School, cross-country. The Buckley High School, cross-country, soccer, track, and field. The Buckley High School, volleyball. Davis Senior High School, skiing and mountain biking. Davis Senior High School, track and field. Davis Senior High School, cross-country. Now, what I find really interesting about that list that you compiled, as a side note, there are schools that have multiple trans athletes. What is the likelihood of that? So this is a This is something that is not yet a majority. It happens a lot. What's the likelihood of it happening that half that list actually is from a overlapping of schools? This seems to be a social contagion.
Absolutely. It's extremely evident that teachers are pushing this agenda on students. We see the schools, some of the schools you listed, we're getting pictures sent nonstop of trans flags, pride flags, BLM flags hung up in these teachers' classrooms. And so it really goes to show, as these grown adults are pushing this ideology, this trans ideology on students, they're going to start falling for it. And like you said, these are minors. These boys, whether or not we agree with what they're doing, and we absolutely do not agree with them being girls' sports or pretending to be girls, they are victims to this too. And it's because of what these teachers are pushing.
Yeah. And so I want to dive a little bit deeper into this. And so, is it true that we actually have no idea how the magnitude of this? I mean, one thing the Trump administration could do is they could demand information, that they could say, hey, we not only are we prohibiting it, but we are requiring, since you receive federal money, to know if you have men and female sports. You guys had to somewhat informally, in a guerrilla tactic way, compile this list. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It would be great to have that force being put on California, being put on CIF, because right now there is no way to fully track those schools and athletes that you listed off. That's just what we've been able to pull together. But we know it's happening up and down our state and more than we can even imagine. So if we could get President Trump to come in and force California to start keeping track, that would be phenomenal.
What is the rank and file of parents in California? What are they saying about this? Is word starting to really get out, the fact that there's now dozens of these instances of men winning female championships?
Word is definitely getting out. Parents are truly extremely upset in the state of California. We saw just 2 years ago a study come out showing that 68% of Californians do not agree with boys and girls sports. So this is a winning issue in California, yet our governor is doing nothing. Our Democrat legislators are constantly killing bills on this topic. And so the parents are ready for there to be a change. We saw when there was the Save Girls Sports bills hearings, 100 people showed up to urge a yes vote. We're getting people to show up this Saturday. Parents are showing up to school board meetings across the state of California and urging people to save girls sports. So no matter what people like to think about California or say California is a lost cause, it's absolutely not. And the parents are fighting back.
In closing here, what are the marching orders? And also, I do want to ask, does this also mean that the boys who are stealing these girls' championships, do they get access to the girls' locker room?
Yes, currently in the state of California, since 2013, boys have been allowed to access locker rooms and bathrooms, the girls' locker rooms and restrooms. And so it's been a big issue and we need to put an end to that. And the way people can get involved and make a difference is CIF is acting like Californians don't want this change, that Californians don't want to stop boys being in girls' locker rooms and sports teams. So we need to make sure CIF knows Californians and Americans are over what California is doing. So at californiafamily.org, we just launched a petition urging CIF to save girls sports. So if people can sign up for that, we'll get that in the hands of CIF and to their president, John Becker, and make sure they know where we stand.
Very good. And again, the Gavin Newsom cowardice is remarkable, not speaking out on this and saying what he said on the podcast. He's such a fraud through and through, if I may use that language. If A.B. Hernandez is to win the state championship in track and field, I hope that there is nationwide disgust and disdain for this. They say, oh, you're picking on trans athletes. No. These trans athletes are picking on women. Get your words right. Thank you so much, Sophia. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Email us, freedom